The future is here. An innovation that will change the way the industry works. A Hot 100 chart, updated daily. The most accurate price guide on the market. Every card has its own profile with a wealth of information. Know the precise, real-time value of any card in the system. On demand. You now have the power to unlock the secrets of the hobby. The game changer is here. Card Ladder.
We are going to open it up for a little bit more time, and just because we're on a roll, and I'm going to close my laptop. Are we turning cameras around? Show faces? No, I need to.
Yeah, we can do that. Christina will need to duck.
All right, there we go. All right, round two is we're just going to answer questions, and you get to see our faces now.
Let's go, baby. Round two. Let's get the questions going. The people asked for it, and let us go. We are back. And now Lefko Cards has joined.
He's on his card account now. He's serious.
Things definitely. Oh, the glasses are coming on. Things just got very serious.
These are my screen glasses because I've been looking at screens too much. All right, baseball cards of steroid guys. That's interesting. Yeah, I've always thought Barry Bonds and A-Rod cards were kind of cheap, but I think eventually people will forget about the whole steroid thing. Who knows? Glasses time. Let's go.
Barry Bonds cards right now, by the way.
Oh, they are. Someone asked about position players besides getting more love. Totally, they should. Take a screenshot. It'll last. Do 80s and 90s cards get more grading leeway? It's way harder to grade 80s and 90s than modern. They do not get more leeway. They are judged as such. They're older cards. They've been beat up.
Yes, they do. I've been the victim of crossover attempts, especially from BGS to PSA with 90s.
Yep.
And it's difficult. PSA hammers cards with foil edges. PSA absolutely wrecks those cards. So be very careful. Be grateful. If you've got a BGS 8.5 like a 90s card, enjoy it.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
I tried to cross a 8.5 PMG Championship Michael Jordan to PSA, minimum PSA 7, and it didn't cross. Thank goodness. They would have given it a 6.
Okay, Lefko, love this question because when do you think we'll get automated grading? Over, under 2025. Let me say, small rant here. Nicest rants in the world from me, but here's a super friendly rant. I respect the grading models, PSA, BGS, SGC, etc., and they use human beings, and I actually appreciate that and I respect that. There's certain knowledge that you need to grade a card that maybe a machine can do it, maybe it can't. But it's also a part of the hobby that human beings grade cards. And when human beings grade cards, it contributes to the knowledge of cards. So when you have a grader who's graded 50,000 cards, that guy has seen a lot of stuff. And he knows things now about cards, about issues, about sets that he could share with other graders that sort of contributes to this greater wealth of knowledge about cards in general. So, I don't know, automated grading, man. Josh, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I'm not too thrilled about it, to be honest with you. I would love the idea of adding objectivity to the grading process, but somebody also has to program the AI. Somebody also has to design the software. Somebody has to determine what the conditions for a card being gem or mint are. If they can do that accurately and we can get closer to objectivity, I'm all for it. But, there's also something to be said. It's more than path dependence why we are where we are right now with grading. I think graders are important. And I think, I don't want to break something. I don't want to fix something that might not be broken. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm going to convince you that we need it in like 10 seconds. You ready?
Let's go.
It's the same analogy as you reviewing sales for Card Ladder, and you have decided that for certain cards, it doesn't need as much of attention because we're doing auctions and certain cards that sell so often. And I think the same thing can happen with grading, where like we use the machines for like 2019 base Prism, which is like 60% of the submissions, so we could cut down on time of 60% of the crap that gets sent in a million times over and over, and use machine learning to like solve those ones, and we leave the human graders for the other 40% of stuff that needs more attention.
I agree with that. And dude, that's music to a lot of collectors' ears, because the reason why BGS has doubled its prices in the last month or 2 months, why PSA is doing the same thing, is because people are grading the heck out of base cards.
Yeah.
So that, then you got a guy who wants to grade, something that is deserving of a grader's individualized attention, and it gets put at the bottom of a stack, sitting beneath a bunch of Prism cards from 2019 or whatever. So
guy,
I agree.
I want to hit this guy's question because he's asked it a couple of times, and I appreciate his efforts. He said, "What's your opinion on sending in multiples of the same card in one submission? Is it smarter to break them up into multiple submissions?" I never break them up. I just send them all, and I don't really think it makes much of a difference, to be honest. I think it might even make it easier because they're tired of seeing the same card 20 times, so they just get through. I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Man, guys try to get really strategic with how to grade. I know guys who will insert a card that they believe is a 6 or a 7 into an order of cards that otherwise are in better condition, just to create like a baseline card that the grader can then use when they analyze the rest of the order. Yeah. So guys try to get real creative with that. Don't overthink it, probably, but I don't know.
Someone asked, do I think a LeBron Topps Chrome rookie is a staple LeBron card? I do not own that card. I own the gold. I don't own the base. As a collector of LeBron, it's just not a card that interests me, because it's more of like, that's the investor's card and let them have that one. I don't want it. There's too many of them. I see it all the time. Everyone asks me about that card. Everyone wants to know if I should buy it and hold, and probably, I guess. It's just such a boring card to me. I've seen it a billion. It's like, the Fleer 86 for you, man. It's the exact same card.
Yeah, dude. I've owned 2. Have you ever owned it?
I have, yeah. I mean, I've bought raws and like graded them and stuff, but I've never bought it with like, oh, dude, yeah, I'm keeping this forever.
Yeah. In fairness, it probably is that card for some people, right?
Yeah, sure.
And that's fair. I used to have 2 86 Fleer PSA 7 Jordans, but I just sold it, man. When it came to like some other cards came up that I wanted more and I needed to do some fundraising, those were like the first ones I sold. Because guess what? I can go get one anytime I want.
Someone asked if I'm ever going to do a grading course. I don't know, man. I just look at them and I just kind of guess. I really feel like I'm making it up as I go. I hope the graders know a lot more than I do about how to look at the condition of a card. Lefko voice? I can't do the announcer voice, dude. That's all you. I got this crappy engineering voice. You got lawyer voices. We don't got the announcer voice.
Dude, the Lefko announcer voice is too legit.
It's a thing.
It's definitely a thing. It is definitely a thing.
He'll be like talking normal and then go, announcer voice guy. I can't do it. Who has the best announcer voice? With Kevin Harlan. He always like gets super into the like announcer voice guy. Love it.
I don't know if he can turn it off.
I don't think so either, man.
He just sounds like that.
Or just Marv Albert. Yes. Player celebrity owned cards, the next big thing. Player celebrity owned cards. I don't know. You mean like Mark Wahlberg? I don't know. Are you going to hold football throughout the season or sell? I'm buying like legendary football players to where I'm not really worried about selling, but like Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray maybe, because they're younger guys and they're running quarterbacks. It's a little riskier. RG3, shout out. Do they take the current grade? Yes. Okay, this is a good question. We didn't touch on this, and I need to. The question is, let's say you have a BGS 9.5 and I want it to be a PSA 10, is it a higher likelihood of getting the PSA 10 if I leave it in the holder or if I crack it? I have two things. If it's a quad 9.5 or quad 9.5 plus, leave it in the holder because you got a pretty good shot of getting a PSA 10. I'd say like 50-50. And I'm just nervous to like crack something out with that nice of a grade and risk getting a PSA 9. If it's less than that, you're just not going to get a PSA 10. You're just not. They're not going to give you a 10, and if you really want it, you got to crack it. And if you have a PSA 9 and you want a BGS 9.5, you have to crack it. You got to.
Yep. Just think about it. In any context, even if it's not grading, right? Like, it's going to inevitably bias the person who's performing the review, even if they try to guard against it the very best of their ability. Say somebody else saw this card and thought it was a 9.
Yeah.
I think there's a human nature element to that.
Someone asked about BCCG or like GMA, and like I've seen a lot of people say, most of those are in like 10 holders or whatever. That's the kind of the joke. And someone was like, "Oh, if it's in a 10, that's automatically a PSA 7." Really? Because I'm pretty sure it could still be a 10. Just look at the card like it's raw, basically.
Definitely could be. Great episode on BCCG on Dr. James Beckett's podcast, by the way. He did a whole episode explaining how the company was born. It was basically born of a super duper big time client at BGS wanting to get a bunch of 10s on his cards. And Beckett was like, "Nope, we can't do that because your cards may not be 10s. How about we invent a grading company that has a much lower standard so we can give you all 10s." And BCCG was born.
Larry Fitzgerald, dude, shout out. I love Larry Fitzgerald. I live in Arizona, so he's just like a total GOAT, like hero to me. I love telling this story. I went to the Cardinals-Packers playoff game a few years ago where Rodgers threw the Hail Mary to send it to overtime. And then Fitzgerald like took the first play of overtime like 90 yards and basically won the game. And then they did like a trick play to him to do the whole stadium. I'm not kidding. The whole stadium chanted Larry, Larry for like an hour straight. And it was like, we don't even care about the people that block for him or like that Carson Palmer made a great play. It was just like, we've been watching Larry Fitzgerald for so many years and watched him through all these crappy quarterbacks. It was like, this is his moment. He's just such a GOAT. Bought a huge Larry Fitzgerald card. I can't wait to show it. Like, huge.
Lots of grading questions tonight.
Yeah. It's not surprising, though, because we, like, the raw to PSA 10 ratios are so out of whack that it's like people are rushing to get those raws.
As they should.
And grade. I guess I'll answer. Hold on, let me do this. BGS 9, Cam Reddish, pink to 50. It's 0.5 away from gem. If it's 0.5 away from gem, just crack it and send it to BGS again. Okay. You want to touch on the gap, the question from Rodman? A couple people asked about that. Can you do that one?
Yeah, I would love to. What's the gap? The
price
BGS
gap.
9.5, the PSA 10 gap. Yeah.
Price gap.
Yep, the gap. Lefko talked about this with Lior on his podcast today. It's a very interesting topic. When I talked to James Beckett, I asked him about this. Because when it comes to 1986 Fleer Jordan, a BGS 9.5 with premium subs sells for higher than a PSA 10, which sells for higher than BGS 9.5 with min subs, right? So when you get into an upper echelon of a card that is carefully scrutinized, 9.5s with premium subs can outsell PSA 10s. That happens with the Michael Jordan 86 Fleer. But you also have to look at the pop report, see how many premium sub 9.5s are, etc. It gets very intricate with a card like that. But Beckett said something extremely that made my eyes pop out of my head. He said that when I explained why is there this price gap to the guy who literally his name is on the slab, and he said it exists because people are just thinking about what they can cross over to PSA, and the higher the likelihood that the BGS 9.5 can cross to a PSA 10, the higher the likelihood that the price is going to get closer and closer to the PSA 10. Now, there's a lot of like nuances and intricacies with grading that have started to irritate me over the last month or two. Like qualifiers, not a fan of qualifiers. It allows people to create misleading item titles on eBay and say that their card is a PSA 9, when it's really a PSA 9 MK, which means mark. And they are the bane of my existence when I'm approving Jim Brown rookie card sales into card. And I'm like, I hate you guys.
Dash MK dash MC dash R dash.
It's still, people won't, but they won't. Okay, so I hate qualifiers. And subgrades get really tricky because the BGS 9.5 market actually becomes tough to track because you get variances that are due to subgrades and that are not due to the market for the card itself. You get a card that will be, $700 one day, $900 the next, and it's strictly because one had better subgrades. So it's like, okay, how do you track market movements for a card that might be moving based on subgrades and not based on condition? So that, I think, makes 9.5s tough. It makes 9.5s tough to think of as investments because it can be tricky to figure out if you're seeing price increases that are due to something intrinsic to the card versus if it's something based on subgrades. So that's annoying. PSA 10s don't have that problem. I mean, people do examine PSA 10s on cards like the 2003 LeBron Chrome or the 86 Flair MJ. People do scrutinize PSA 10s, even, and they say not all PSA 10s are equal. But with PSA 10s, it's a lot easier to track market movements because there's no subgrades to worry about. It's either PSA 10 or it isn't.
That's a great point. Yeah, because 9.5 is like, the card isn't done. There's more to learn about it. There's more. PSA 10 is like, this is the 10. It's in its slab. It's not moving. Also, there's just like a big mental hurdle, even for myself, of like, a 9.5 still starts with a 9. It's not a 10. And it's just like a real mental hurdle for people to be like, well, it's not a 10, so I don't want it.
Yeah, I know. The first time I heard that, I thought it was a little bit silly, but it's absolutely true. There's something very desirable about the simplicity of this is a perfect 10, and this is not. It's a 9.5, even though they're both called gem mints. And then SGC complicates the picture even more because they have pristine, they have gem, they have mint plus, and then they have mint. It's out of hand.
Someone said, I love my favorite eBay listings are when it says, like, not, something else. Like, this is not a Luka card. I promise you that. Or, like, this is not the Jordan card. Or not an auto.
I know. Why? That would just piss me off. If I'm looking for a Michael Jordan autograph and all I see is a bunch of not autographs.
I'm definitely not buying your stupid card now.
Because could D Wade's cards be more valuable as a 9 with his dunk contest ratings? Dude, that should be a card.
That's so pretty for me. Oh, defensive cards? I'm glad someone asked that because I guess I'm the football guy, Chris. Sorry. Any thoughts on NFL? You look at football cards more than I do because of the latter. Any thoughts? NFL defensive player cards. That one's tough. Because like with quarterbacks, it's obvious they have the ball every play. And with like running backs and receivers, there's like the fantasy football tie. So I think there's a lot of interest there. And a lot of people feel like they can get on board with receivers and running backs and tight ends and stuff. Defensive players are tough. They don't touch the ball. And like the best defensive players of all time, a lot of times are the ones that you never see do anything because they're just shutting their guy down. Like Richard Sherman always talks about that. And like Darrelle Revis and, Patrick Peterson, guys like that. They don't even get a chance to get intercepted. They have less interceptions than other guys because nobody throws the ball their way. I guess like sack leaders, like maybe Reggie White would be a pretty interesting. I think Reggie White would be a great guy to buy. He's like all-time sack leader. He's passed away, super iconic. So maybe like sack guys could be something. Linebackers, tackles are kind of a boring stat. I don't know. Defensive tackles don't really get any. Like Warren Sapp didn't really have a lot of career sacks. He was just like a great player. It's tough. I actually Aaron Donald cards are pretty pricey.
Really? That's interesting. I remember when Khalil Mack first came to the Bears, there was a lot of enthusiasm about him. I don't know if that translated to the hobby or not, though.
Cards. Is Lamimo in here? I saw him earlier. I don't know if he's on right now. Only our like diehards are still here right now. I love everyone that's here right now. Deion Sanders is a good one. I think that's a pretty good buy. Deion Sanders, because yeah, he's got like the personality. He's got the post-playing career with the NFL Network. Darrell Revis, Deion Sanders, Richard Sherman, Jamal Adams. Yeah, maybe. Defensive player cards are like betting on. Yeah, maybe defensive ends could be interesting. Michael Strahan, Reggie White. All the baseball questions, dude, I just like pretend I didn't see them in the comments because I don't know any. I know less than nothing about baseball.
Indeed.
Oh, LaDainian Tomlinson, that's a good one. So like running backs are tough because all the current ones are never going to get anywhere near legendary status in statistics because the NFL is a pass happy league now and it's just not going to happen. And they use two running back systems and guys like McCaffrey don't last as long because of the way the NFL's run. So running backs are tough. So that's why I've been looking at LaDainian Tomlinson because he's like the last guy that was like a true workhorse with legendary statistics. He is like second all time in touchdowns, top 10 in rushing yards all time. If you're looking at guys like Walter Payton, Jim Brown, Emmitt Smith, it's going to be really tough to have anyone ever get to that level again because of the way the NFL is set up. And LaDainian Tomlinson is like the last of that era. Sean Alexander, yeah. He didn't last very long. Priest Holmes didn't last long enough. Those guys were good for fantasy, those running backs. They were really exciting for short periods of time, but none of them are close to LaDainian Tomlinson or his predecessors in terms of overall statistics. But receivers, just the opposite. Those guys are lots of receivers are moving up lists quickly. Oh, you bought a black Tomlinson? Someone, dang it. Barry Sanders is a good one. But he doesn't have a rare card. He does have the 90s stuff. I'm sorry. He does have like the cool.
He's got PMGs.
He's got PMGs and stuff. Bam Adebayo. Someone asked me today if Bam Adebayo is going to be an MVP.
An MVP? Maybe of the second unit of the Heat.
No, he's a starter.
I don't know, man. Anything's possible, right? I don't know. I think Bam Adebayo silvers are up $500 to $700 range, I think.
Frank Gore, Maurice Jones-Drew. Yeah, those guys are cool, but like their stats don't stack up with a lot of these older guys because that's just not how it works anymore with running backs. Frank Gore's stats are really good. Obviously, like his overall rushing stats are good, rushing yards. But I don't know. He was never like a superstar. He's just like played a long time. I mean, he's a good player, but Mean Joe Green cards, dude, we need that shit. Adrian Peterson's good, but he beats his kids.
Small issue there.
Adrian Peterson is definitely the last of a dying breed, but he beats his kids with bamboo sticks. You're right, Blighty 90s. I'm sorry. Barry Sanders does have sweet cards. I meant he doesn't have a cool rookie card. You're a crackhead. Frank Gore, don't sniff LT. Jeez. Frank Gore, number 3 all-time leading rusher. That's correct. I'm fascinated to see if there's a direct correlation between fantasy and NFL card values this season. There will be, my friend. This is the first year that we've had fantasy football and prospecting card craze, and I think they're going to come together real quick. What do you think about that, Chris?
Dude, I think it should have happened a long time ago. How is it not a thing? How is it not a thing that the top fantasy players, especially if a guy's on your team, but that's why I was looking at McCaffrey, man. I was like, dude, I draft McCaffrey every year. He helps me win games every year. I would love to have some of his cards. Then when I'm watching NFL Red Zone on Sunday and McCaffrey's going off for 3 touchdowns, I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. I can't believe that it hasn't happened already. I think it definitely will.
It's going to be a thing this year. I pretty much can guarantee it.
Dude,
Um,
a lot of things in the hobby are changing right now. A lot of the ways we think about the hobby are changing right now. The dude
totally.
Crunch Sources did like a whole analysis of how NBA 2K player ratings are correlated to their prices, their Prism Silver prices. Very interesting stuff.
If today's QBs jump up, it sounds like everyone should be buying Marino, Steve Young. That's a great call out. Those
Yeah.
guys, see the thing about those guys though, Adam, is that they are late 80s guys and their rookie cards are just not as good. There's too many of them. And I know that like it works for Jordan with 86 Fleer, but that one's different. Like there's not too many guys in legendary guys with basketball in the late 80s with rookie cards because and with football there's like that mid 80s junk wax era and it's just tougher with their rookie cards. There's so dang many of them. So just be careful with that. Yeah, I'm definitely worried about NFL and COVID for sure. Very, very worried about that. It seems it's going to be really tough to get through COVID for the NFL compared to NBA because NBA has the bubble and there's less players and uh, it's going to be really, really tough for the NFL. I hope they figure it out because I want football so bad. Not because I have a lot of football cards, because I love football.
Yeah, football coming back, man. That's big on a whole different level, even than cards.
Let's go. Wentz should have a good year with it. Marino's 84. Go look at the pops, Adam. Just look for yourself. I mean, there's
Yeah,
like
84
some
tops
decent ones.
Marino is pop 380. It's
I
actually
mean, it's
doing
not
quite well right now. That card is
It's only pop 380.
pop 380.
What's the price?
$2,200 right now. Oh, check this out.
What's the market cap?
1984 tops football. 96,000 cards graded.
Oh my God, that's a lot. What's the market cap on the Marino rookie?
The market cap on the pop 380 Marino rookie is $835,000.
So like 1/15 of the Luka Prism base.
Yeah, or less perhaps.
And they have the same amount of championships. Yeah, I keep seeing people talk about Frank Gore and LT. Frank Gore's just been more steady, and LT had like those crazy, crazy, crazy years where he had like 31 touchdowns, the most touchdowns in a year, like the #1 fantasy season of all time, second all time in rushing touchdowns. He's just like a more exciting player than Frank Gore, and he's like had higher highs. It's because Frank Gore's the Tim Duncan of the NFL. I love that. He is. He's just like steady as it goes. He's never been like a big fantasy guy because he's always just like pretty good at fantasy. LT had like the best fantasy season of all time. Yeah, NFL and COVID, I'm very sad. I want it to work so bad, but like guys are opting out. What do you think about the NFL and COVID?
It's a big problem, man. Big rosters. Could you create a bubble town? Could it happen? Like, I don't know, man. Might be too late in the game. Like, I don't know. Let's see how baseball works, right? Like, let's see how baseball pans out.
But there's so many more people in the NFL and they hit each other.
Yeah, I know.
Can you imagine when one guy gets tested positive, they got to test 300 people?
Yep.
In basketball, it's like you got to test, 30 people. Football's 300. There's, personnel. There's 100 guys, just 106 guys just in the game. 53-man rosters. A ton of people.
Yeah. Yep. That's going to be an issue.
Dude, if football doesn't happen, we're all going to be depressed because this is why I'm so big on football cards is because, like, again, we've talked about collector bases, and I look at the football base of fans, and dude, I'm obviously biased because I live in America, but like everyone I know watches football and they're like obsessed with it. Male, female, doesn't matter. Football in this country is freaking insane. And the prospecting and the card flipping and the Gary Vee stuff, a lot of that stuff originates here in America. And that's where we're driving these basketball prices. So I just don't see why it wouldn't work for football, where there's way more of a collector base and fanatic fan base of football fans.
Yeah, dude. I mean, to drive that point home, everybody talks about basketball is having more collectors internationally. Definitely true, but football, man, has very intense collectors, and
Yes.
that matters too. Um, the intensity of the passion for football is tough to compete against any sport. So okay, maybe you have a smaller collector base to draw from, but the guys who do love football go super hard for it.
And they're all collectors, man. Everyone I've met since I've been buying football cards is a collector.
That's what I love to see. That's the most important market fundamental of all, is that a market is supported by collectors, people who want to have the cards because they like the cards.
Aaron Rodgers is a great. I've talked about Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson a lot. I think those guys are awesome. They got Super Bowl rings. So I didn't compare Frank Gore to Tim Duncan. I just meant like they have similarities in how they're perceived by people in the sport. Like, oh, they're just always good. They're just always there. I don't have to think about them. They're not sexy. I didn't mean that like Frank Gore's a 5-time champion, like best power forward of all time. Duncan has a way better resume. Pop reports are only valuable to collectors, whereas these investors seem to prefer high pop reports. That's a thing only now. Like supply and demand is a very real market, like foundation. So I don't know why people think it's funny to ignore that right now. Can you talk about that? I don't. It's like weird.
It is weird. It's almost well. There's been an intentional push especially by new people into the hobby, to create commodity cards, which is the idea that you have a card that trades so frequently that it's maximally liquid. So the higher population a card is, the more data points it can get by transacting on the market every day. And the theory behind that is that if you have a commodity card, there's a safety component to it, because you can put it up, you can sell it whenever you want. There is truth to that. The 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan, you can sell that card at market value within 5 minutes on eBay. All it takes is listing it with a bin at the average of last 5 comps, and you will sell that card immediately. So I get the theory behind it, but it sure seems to me to overlook the fundamental that has always appealed to me as a collector, which is rarity and scarcity. If a card is ever present on the market, it doesn't appeal to me. That's just me. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Collector base again. Like, yeah, if he just said it, like if collectors don't want that card, you might want to think about that. People are really going on this Frank Gore thing. Jamal Crawford card purchase recently.
Let me go buy some Frank Gore cards right now. Frank Gore.
I saw one of my friend of the show, Justin 610 Sports Cards, is selling a PSA 10 Frank Gore rookie SP Authentic RPA for like $500. It's like, that's ridiculously cheap. Robert Ory. No, it is not. Card purchase you regret. Is that really?
Yeah, I was trying to think about that question for a second as well. Christine, is there a card purchase that we regret recently? Hard to say. I
only buy what I like, so it's tough to.
Yes. You made me buy 7 Shore
rookies. Oh, the Keith Shore Griffey rookies. Yep.
Stephon Marbury. Yeah, so like, if international purchasing is a thing, why isn't Stephon Marbury more expensive? Don't know.
Love it.
Yeah.
Good counterpoint.
Chris, what's up with the Christmas lights and the hoodie? What are you, like, Santa Claus over there?
I'm from 6 months ahead. No, I'm in Illinois, and in a cold basement where we've created like a makeshift office. We have like 4 office stations going here right now, and it gets chilly down here. And I don't know, the Christmas lights, Christina likes Christmas a lot.
People are gonna go buy stuff on Marbury tonight, dude. Can we just make a stuff on Marbury market tonight?
Dude,
That'd be so
Starberry, man,
funny.
let's go. The man has a
If
statue.
you see Marbury cards, oh, dude, you only add cards to the ladder when they're hot. What's wrong with you? You're just following. You're just hyping up stuff, man.
Just the hype ladder, man.
Hashtag hype ladder. Oh, this is deteriorating. This is so funny.
Oh, Marbury Collector has spoken up. See, and dude, this is so true though. This is so true, man. Player collectors don't want their player to become more expensive, right? Because they want the card, right? So, you know.
Yeah, he's seriously. I know, dude. Did I tell you about that Aaron Rodgers guy? Someone messaged me, DM me, and they're like, "Dude, stop talking about Aaron Rodgers. You're pissing me off. Like, please don't do it. I'm buying his cards right now, and I want to, keep buying his cards." And I'm like, "No, dude, I hear you. Like, there's nothing I can do about it."
No, there's not. It goes back to picks, though. If somebody brings something to light that people otherwise would have independently come to on their own anyway, I think there's something organic about that. There's something probably enduring about that. But if people are just buying cards because somebody else said it's, hey, this is going to go up, that worries me.
Your Marbury 3. I think you're okay, man. If people go buy Marburys, they're going to go buy boring PSA 10 Topps Chrome rookies anyways. They're not going to buy the stuff you want.
You still have time, in other words.
Oh, dude, if you're a super collector of a guy like that, there's just not that many people looking for the super rare pieces. It's just you and like a couple other guys. Hopefully, Sports Card Investor doesn't blast it. Dude, we still got 60 people, and it's like ridiculously late.
We're just chilling, man. The chat just
Am I
wants to
killing
chill.
am I killing you on card ladder tonight?
No. I've been adding cards quietly while we've been chatting.
Please don't talk about PJ. Don't worry. Investicard, I still don't know who that is.
Investicard, man. Eddie.
I don't know who that is. Like, I don't follow a lot of these influencers. I follow collectors.
Indeed.
I only follow like 400, 500 people accounts because like I just want to see collectors that post cool cards. And that's how you follow the market. What are people collecting? I love that that's our main shtick tonight.
And what are they collecting but not showing you?
You guys gotta hush about that stuff you had. Yeah. Sports Card Investigator, the funniest dude on the internet.
Shout out to Andy, man.
Shout out, dude. Nobody drinks a Coke like that, dude.
Dude, how many people can come into the game and become a meme with Lameme James like instantly?
That's impressive.
That is impressive.
I'm a leader, not a follower. You see that, Chris?
It's a good way to be. I just follow, man. I'm just one of the flock.
You just love having your finger on the pulse of the whole hobby, and I think it's good that one of us does that because we need to with card ladder. Like, we need to know what's going on, and I think it's good that one of us does and one of us doesn't because I keep a little bit of a different perspective than you because of that, and it's good. We always keep a nice balance.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's important to have one guy who's always thinking ahead of the curve. That's you, and then to have the other guy who's sort of telling you what just happened. That's me.
Totally.
Both matter. Both matter quite a bit.
For sure. Dude, that's why we're such a great team on card ladder. I don't want to do that stuff necessarily, and And you guys do a great job of it. Fantastic. And it's always very unbiased, and it's really strong. You know, it's like you guys do it the right way.
Well, appreciate that.
Data driven, friend.
Yeah. It's important to tell the story of cards through data in a way that you can show to other people. I've been at parties, and I would try to explain to people what's going on with cards. I remember when the Michael Jordan PMG green sold. I remember trying to explain to people why it was such a big deal. I'd be like, look at this Chicago Tribune article. Look at this eBay sale. Look at this. Look at how the card prices are changing. Look at this sale. It's from a month ago, and then here's this one. And look at them. And people they're like, what is this? I don't know. What is eBay? Like, what's going on here? But now I show people graphs, and graphs are powerful. People understand graphs. They know how to read graphs. They're familiar with graphs. You show people a graph, a picture of a card, and some information about it, and all of a sudden, things start to make a lot more sense to them. That's one of the services we can do to people who want to understand our hobby and our market, is give them the data that we all have and that we all know in our heads, but that they don't have in their minds yet. And a graph can help them get that data.
Absolutely. Someone pointed out Diana Taurasi. That's a good one. And college football cards. Yeah, why not, man? People like that stuff. Let's do it. Your charts are single-handedly getting my friends in the hobby. Sick.
Dude, it's true.
Look,
I just
put the logo on there, bro.
I just saw a bunch of family over the not this week, but last week. And they're interested. They're like, wow, you are really into cards. And I said, yeah. I said, why don't you look at this? Look at this card ladder website that we built. And I showed it to him, and he's like, Bo Jackson. I used to have a Bo Jackson card. I said, oh, really? Was this the one? We pulled up the Bo Jackson rookie. He was like, yeah. I was like, look at this. This is what it sold for a year ago. This is what it sold for 2 years ago. Oh, are you interested in the set that it came from? Here's a link. Look at this nice picture of the card. Oh, you want to buy a copy? Click this eBay link. You can buy one right now. You want to see how that process works? And he was so into it, right? He was amazing. Like, I couldn't get a guy like this into cards if I sat there and talked to him for 30 minutes and just told him how passionate I am about it and the whole nine. But you show somebody, you give people the tools to understand it for themselves, it's a whole different ballgame. And so now I have 2 new collectors in my family just from being able to show them how the hobby works.
And also, every graph you show them does this.
Well, that's the thing, too. I mean, they all start seeing that, and they're like, whoa, what the hell is going on in the hobby? GP, first of all, shout out to Garrett, by the way. I'm sorry, go ahead, buddy.
I'm scared to get my friends into it because it's gone up so much that I'm like, I don't want to be telling you the one time that it goes down.
Well, dude, I have a cousin in high school who works at Walmart. And I'm like, bro, you work at Walmart? Do you guys get cards? And he was like, yeah, dude, we get cards sometimes. I was like, man, dude, you need to keep an eye out for those cards, bro. And so now he's looking at, I don't want to give away his game. He's looking at cards.
You don't want to give away his location. People are going to start hitting him up.
I know.
I heard that you know a guy that knows a guy that gets cards, and like you can give him at Walmart and get these retail boxes early.
Yeah, dude, shout out to GP Cards 24, man. Michael Jordan, OG collector. He says, remember investigating every PWCC sale and tracking the buyers? Dude, that's how we know Jeremy from Sports Cards Live, was because we made a podcast that said, dude, this one eBay user bought $20,000 worth of Michael Jordan cards in one night. And we talked about it on the podcast, and then Jeremy messaged me. He was like, that was me, guys.
That's dope. Dude, that was one of my favorite parts of Last Dance when Michael Jordan was talking about the guy that's on Connecticut, the guy that he gives a lot of talks crap to, and then he's like, don't you guys have a women's team? Or you know what I'm talking about? He was like saying that like the women's team is more relevant than the men's.
Scott Burrell, yeah.
Yes, that was so funny. He just has to win everything. He has to win like little fights like that. He's so.
That's why when he lost that quarter toss game.
Yeah, savage.
Scott Burrell. Indeed.
I've watched The Last Dance 3 times now. I love it so much. It's so good.
Damn. I still got to get on round 2.
Talk me out of
Peace.
buying Matt Ryan rookies. That's a good one. Matt Ryan.
Peace,
Later,
left
Adam.
go.
Dude, he hung around for dude, we got celebrities hanging around for almost 2 hours listening to a couple of weirdos talk about cards.
That's the state of the hobby in a nutshell.
Weirdos talking about cards. Do you have any plans to make the graphs easily exportable? Yeah. Oh, tell me more about that, Insights. You would know. Like, what are you looking for? I'm interested to know what you want. I don't want to guess.
While he does that, Rodman says, what's going on with Kobe cards? Dude, Kobe and LeBron rookie cards, there's a number of different brands and sets that exist that people have been finding. You know, it's so funny. Last summer, everybody was trying to pick the right investment. This player, whoever, Luka, Trey, Bagley, Jaren Jackson, whoever. Everybody wanted to pick the best player to invest in because they thought it was player-based. They thought if you pick the right prospect, you'll beat the game. Go back and look at the growth rates of LeBron James and Kobe Bryant rookie cards from last summer to this summer. I don't think there's a prospect that could beat them. If there is, there's very few. So people have traditionally shied away from collecting great players because I think part of the reason is maybe it's not so exciting to them. And the other part of the reason is it requires hobby knowledge. You need to know sets. You need to know what to chase, and you need to know why stuff's important. You need to love the cards. Moral of the story there is that Kobe cards are doing terrifically well, and so are LeBron cards. And it's because of the way our hobby works. Our hobby is all about cross-player comps. You know, people are not going to let young prospects bump up in value too much before they start saying, okay, well, I guess I can pay a little more for a Kobe card. I guess I can pay a little more for a LeBron card. And then you get cross-player comps at the GOAT level too. It's amazing how the LeBron PSA 10 refractor Chrome and the Jordan 86 Fleer PSA 10, they just follow each other. And it happened again. A Jordan PSA 10 just sold for $75K, and a LeBron refractor just did 70. It's astonishing how the hobby works like that. So yeah, man, Kobe rookies are absolutely going insane. Kobe has some of the best rookie cards ever, man. He's got finest gold. Love that card, dude.
He's got the best cards, dude. He's got late 90s. He's got exquisite mid 2000s. He's got Panini.
He's got it all.
Find me someone with a better range of cards than Kobe Bryant. You cannot do it.
No, you can't do it. And like every day in the submissions portal, it's a new Kobe rookie that's immediately upvoted. So like the Hoops rookie just got put in. Like the EX rookie just got put in. Kobe has incredible cards, man. He's got to be one of the most fun players to collect right now.
If you have Kobe to sell before the Hall of Fame, no, don't sell. Don't sell Kobe for a long time. Kobe's, dude, don't sell Kobe. Don't sell Kobe, don't sell LeBron, don't sell Jordan. Just don't. If something's going to pop, Chris, we're not dummies. You got all your cards you're not moving no matter what are Jordan, and all the cards I got that I'm not moving no matter what are LeBron. We're not dummies. You see the stuff I saw on Instagram? It's not my good LeBron stuff. You're not selling your big Jordan stuff. You're selling some of your Lucas stuff. We're not stupid. All right, hold on. Hockey. I just don't watch it. It's like I'm not gonna fake it, guys. I'm sorry. Like I could go on and give you my top five hockey picks of the day. I'm just not going to do it because I don't know, and it doesn't excite me. Like we should get some hockey cards. We got a lot of hockey cards in the ladder, so Chris is doing a much better job than I am of knowing which hockey cards. So thank you for doing that work. And our users tell us what hockey cards. Like we don't even need to know the hockey market super well. We have our users voting and submitting for us and telling us what hockey cards what matter. I just don't know if I'm going to talk about it on here because I just don't know. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to fake it. Does Kobe have any numbered rookies? Yes, he has one. I'm going to get this wrong, but I think it's just the 96. Row 0. Yeah, the legacies.
The legacies. And he also has credentials, right, out of $4.99.
You're right.
I forgot
does
about
not have much. Hockey.
I tried not to talk too much about him in the MJ group, man.
Dude, there's a reason that people like our content a little bit more. Well, I mean, we don't have as many subscribers, but the people that like our content relative to these other guys is because we are collectors, and a lot of these other influencers and investor guys aren't collectors, you know? And it's like,
Yeah, man, and
same
because
thing.
we learned, and we learn every day from the greats, the great collectors, and this great industry. Man, if there's one thing that I think is a way to approach this hobby, it's to always be ready to learn something new. I've seen you explore football cards now, and I've seen the way that you study it and you reach out to seasoned great collectors and you absorb their insights and you take the time to learn these things and respect the game. I just think that's the way to do it, man.
Dude, totally. I went straight to our buddy for football cards, and I just was like, tell me. I don't know. I know way less than you. Tell me. You know, people come to me for LeBron, so I go to other people for advice on Randy Moss and Larry Fitzgerald because I don't know as much about those cards as they do. Gretzky, dude, Gretzky is like, this might sound insane, but isn't Gretzky like the most obvious choice for any sport ever of like the undisputed GOAT?
Yes.
Like relative to I'm just talking about, you know, I'm not saying like he's better than Jordan. What I'm saying is that he's the only like super undisputed for his sport. Maybe let's see, like Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus. You know, people maybe say Federer, but then you got Nadal and catching up to him. You know, Jordan. You got some people say LeBron. Gretzky. Is there anyone in their right mind that would not say Gretzky?
I've heard Jeremy talk a little bit about this. No, I think he definitely thinks it's undisputed. He was talking about this with like the great Gretzky collector, like the Gretzky of Gretzky collectors he did a show with, and it was interesting to hear them talking about that. But a little bit out of my area of expertise. I want to acknowledge something. Marbury Collector says he went back and listened to some old HOJ. He says, man, you were wrong about 1819 optic. Dude, I probably was for sure wrong about 1819 optic. I think I get optic now. I think I get it now. I didn't get it really at first. Josh got it at first. I remember that. I got some old optics sitting around here, actually.
Hey, while you're getting that, someone said card ladder is part of my daily routine. I check my bank account, my IRA, and then my card ladder.
Who, Garrett said that? Dude,
yeah.
That sounds like a pretty fun daily routine to me. Sabonis. All right, just to this was pulled because we have been opening optic packs since 2016 optic, right? Before this product was anything at all, we were opening optic. And, you know, I don't know. I didn't like it at the time. It didn't stop me from opening it. But, you know, all of a sudden when a product becomes popular, man, you see it a little differently. Like, I think now I'm a pretty big fan of optic. I don't know.
We got 4 minutes left, so I'm gonna bounce and then I'll post this because why not?
Sounds good. Thank you guys. 2-hour banger for you all tonight.
Later, brother.
See you, man.
The future is here. An innovation that will change the way the industry works. A Hot 100 chart, updated daily. The most accurate price guide on the market. Every card has its own profile with a wealth of information. Know the precise, real-time value of any card in the system. On demand. You now now have the power to unlock the secrets of the hobby. The game changer is here.